And there are going to be circumstances and situations for all of you in the future, as there have been in the past, where you are going to be challenged to wonder why you are creating this potential suffering. And we'll use suffering with quotation marks. Because in the human life, there is suffering. There is pain. You know, there is pain. But your relationship to that pain is what changes and transforms it from something that's being done to you to something that's being created through you for a purpose. And that is the evolution of the entire human species. Now, you might want to get a future prediction. What is my life going to be like? Or what is life for humans going to be like in the future? Are we going to survive as a species? Will we excel? Will it be tragedy? Will it be glory? What is going to happen? And what we want to say to you is that this evolutionary time that you're in, especially in this year and moving into 2017, it is so pliable for you, meaning that your relationship to your life is going to be the number one influence on what you're going to draw to you. Now, do not be fooled, and we have said this over and over again. You are not to the point in human evolution where you can just manifest only the good things, or that you can completely remove yourself from human suffering, because you are part of the world. You are part of the planet. And there are many places on the planet that people are truly suffering. There's no food, there's no water, there's war. There's other places on the planet that are thriving in beautiful gardens and a great deal of abundance. So you have the whole spectrum, and you are a part of the world. So, in developing a joyful relationship to it all, you must understand that when you feel something, especially now, this is not a limited experience to something that happened yesterday, or something that happened in your childhood, or even something that you're dealing with. You are now more than ever open to feeling the heartbeat of the entire planet. And right now, much of the planet is panicked. Not the whole planet, but a lot of the planet is in a panic mode. And as you all remember from the quantum leap, that there was a period of time where everything exploded. Everything exploded in your lives. People lost this, people lost that. People were having trouble coping intellectually, coping psychologically, because the old paradigm had to be broken down. You had to do away with the old ideas that were not true, that did not serve you, that were keeping you imprisoned in a construct that just didn't really exist. And all of you went through a period of letting go and losing things that were dear to you, and yet you rebuilt. And you built it on a much truer ideal, a much more encompassing definition of who you were. You were no longer this small, helpless victim. You no longer blamed people. You took your power in and you changed your lives. And there is a tribe of people that you are a part of Most of them you will never meet. Many of them you are in touch with, but it's a much, much, much bigger tribe of people in the world who in their own language are living this way. They may not be Chambre, they may not be Einsteinian studiers, but they understand and are intending to be the change in this time of great evolution. So it's important to remember that in evolution, there's a process. So the fish, in an evolutionary urge, the fish began to throw themselves up onto the land. And the first fish couldn't accommodate breathing. You know, fish breathe in water. So they died, but the longer term cycle of evolution kept the fish throwing themselves until the body adapted to the new way. So when you see destruction or dying and suffering in this way, be touched. Have human compassion for humans, but step back into this observer, into a bigger, longer term range and see that you are part of this infinite push of compassion to create a world that accommodates the good of all. And it's being revealed now more than ever how forces in your world today are working for the good of the few at the expense of the many. And that's what we refer to as evil. So working for the good of the whole is a evolutionary process, and you can find joy every day knowing that you came here to be a part of that push. And instead of predicting what the future is going to be, we want to encourage you to vision the future, to intend to vision the future. And in that vision, we don't really care what details you see. If you see small communities working together, maybe you can see major changes in the corporate greed so that those large corporations begin to figure out we can have abundance and still help people, and you're seeing that. You're seeing sustainable energy companies coming to be the corporate influence that is working for the good of all, that is working for the sustainable. So we don't really care what particular images you project for the future. We want you to infuse those images with love and compassion, whatever they are. If there's a great deal of technology, infuse in those images that the human heart is beating for all. Infuse in those images that people are taken care of, that people are understanding their power and their compassion. And some will be called to live in small communities out of the way. Some will be called to organize large groups. Some will be called to be part of multiple families. There'll be all kinds of ways that humans aggregate in the future together. But we will tell you that these next 5 years are a shift, and you're going to see those fish, some of them not making it. But don't be fooled. Give your human compassion. Give in your local universe, everywhere that you can help to make your world more compassionate, that you can project the joy of being alive and the joy of abundance that each and every one of you have here into your world. And those specifics, each of you have a story that you could tell us if we went around the room of how you were able to use your power and your intention to make a better outcome, whether it's for one person, 10 people, animals, water. That's why you're here. So we don't want you just sitting back and being joyful. And that's a good start. And if that's all you did in your life was to live a good, joyful life, that would be a gracious plenty. But we want to ask more of you. We want to ask you to throw yourself up onto the land and adapt. Let your bodies adapt to this time period and this new way of the world building itself together.